So I think the thing that's sort of most important in my life in the way that it wasn't quite as important before is this whole notion of in-stream marketing. Now, there are many streams that exist. The obvious ones are Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn is becoming increasingly stream delivered. The Yahoo homepage is becoming stream delivered. The HuffPo Live is a stream delivery. And almost everything I'm seeing in mobile in the content area, and certainly from a kind of news and information point of view in the content area, is a stream. And the challenge for advertisers is, how do you take brands into the stream? What assets do you create for those brands, and where does that take you? Because it requires a whole different kind of thought process about how you become organically part of the user experience in those kind of platforms, whether you're using text or increasingly with Vine and imminently Facebook video and sponsored stories on LinkedIn, about how you provide context that's as relevant to the user who almost certainly didn't actually arrive in that place to consume brand advertising. So for me, that's the kind of big challenge going forward. And I think when we listen about what Twitter is doing with TV, what Facebook is doing with their video product, what we're going to hear about from Facebook in terms of advertising products and potentially video in Instagram, or also just tell me stream, 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 stream. And it's the advertising challenge for the rest of 2013 and 2014 and maybe beyond. Well, media and advertising I've always described as a manufacturing and distribution problem. And every time the distribution channels change and the stream is a new distribution channel, then typically the manufacturing problem changes as well. And so if the 15-second commercial in Facebook video is going to be the long form, and the 6-second commercial in Vine is going to be the short form, and the first 5 seconds that you can't skip out of on YouTube video is going to be the short form, and the longer piece is going to be the long form, the manufacturing side of the business has to think very carefully about what does creativity look like in a kind of light touch way, as opposed to sort of the heavier touch of the 30 or the 60 or the color ad. And equally with photos and images, if you look at Facebook page posts now and Facebook advertising, there is this absolute tsunami of content about simple, arresting, quick to consume, quick to understand visual imagery that is running all over Facebook page posts, is at the heart of people's strategy on Pinterest, and is on heart of the visual posting on Instagram and the visual posting on Twitter, because it's clear that advertisers and agencies are finally getting the message that the attention span of people in the stream, and maybe more generally than that, is extremely short. And if you set the bar about what am I going to do that's going to engage people in a second and persuade them to make some kind of engagement-related reaction to it, that's a terrific creative challenge. From a media point of view, we can transact with anyone, and the transaction with anyone is about how often do we need to publish and how often do we need to pay to publish. How do we spot the organic success of any particular content asset in order to then put the fuel of paid media on top of it? Because if you've got organic success, then you're dumb if you don't exploit that organic success really quickly. And so we are working, actually, I think, more closely with creative partners, albeit not always the traditional agencies, because there are now many, many, many sources of creativity in this area. So I think it's really exciting. So we have got movie content, we have got television content, we have got short form online video content, and all the way down to Vine. So video now operates in a spectrum of Iron Man 3 to Vine and everything between. And so my perspective on that is that advertisers need to find a mechanism either to create or to attach to all of those kinds of areas. Now, clearly, when you look at the video distribution on the big platforms like YouTube and on Yahoo and to an extent on AOL, one of the big opportunities that presents us with is to gather back the erosion of reach that we've seen on television over recent years the erosion of reach, both in terms of attention, in terms of ad avoidance and so forth, and to rebuild some of that quality, because we still have many advertisers whose principal need is to build reach when they need to, frequency when they need to, and recency because of the purchase cycle of their products. So all that's happened is that we've now, I think in the last year and going forward next year, we've got a realistic volume of video opportunities that is now building its way into our whole video distribution plan, in which I include television. So I think there's a big block there. I think we've always known that the biggest advertisers, because they invest in big tentpole properties, probably spend 50% of their video dollars on maybe 25% of the GRPs that they deliver, which by extension they spend 50% of their video dollars on 75% of the GRPs that they deliver. My guess is that for the most part, the video players that we are talking about in the online world are going to be competing in that space for the 75% of the GRPs for 50% of the dollars, and people will be using them to infill reach. From time to time, an opportunity will come up that's really compelling for people, where they really love the content, where the user engagement with the content is enormous, and in which case they will, to use an overused expression, lean into a particular property and say, this is really worthy of my attention, rather than just attaching advertising to it, and I need to work out how to really build my brand into it to create some kind of deeper integration to really resonate with people. But we're dealing with a vast spectrum of video content, both in its nature and in its distribution. And I believe that one of the steps we're going to have to take is to try and deconstruct many of these video possibilities in ways that we haven't before. And for example, to look at the YouTube universe overall, and within the YouTube universe, think about the Machinima universe, the Maker Studios universe, the YouTube Originals universe, the redistribution of broadcast content within YouTube, and stop thinking about these things as monolithic items, except from an audience programmatic buying point of view, and start deconstructing them to find out where brands fit and how.